So unprofessional.
Hello. It's a very exciting episode today. Something that will never be done again, and that is our first guest.
We're never letting her back on.
She'll never be back on this podcast. Our first guest, everyone, Madison Wild. Can you believe it?
The soft-spoken Snow White.
Yeah,
herself.
we have to shove the microphone down her throat a little bit so she can. Hi.
This is my first time hearing myself in headphones.
Does it scare you?
It's just something to get used to, but I like it.
I think she likes it. I love
do like
Madison's
it.
voice. It's calming. It makes me feel good in my bones.
It does. I love talking to Madison. It's Monday right now, and me and Madison, we always have our weekly Monday meetings. We've been doing this for like a few weeks where we get together and we're like, how depressed were you last week? And we like check that level. And fun fact, we actually skipped the last 2 or 3 Mondays because the levels of depression we were at were levels we didn't even want to like.
We didn't need to get into.
We didn't want to relapse on the last few weeks.
I didn't even know that.
Okay,
But
so
her voice is a voice of reason in my life. I'll say that.
it started as a really beautiful thing
Yeah.
where we wrote down. My therapist told me to do this.
Madison has a great therapist, by the way, everyone.
We started by, in the beginning of the year, putting down all of our goals that we had. We went to a coffee shop. We made a little list of them, personal stuff, work stuff. And then we said every Monday we're going to check in and see how we did.
You did it like really consistently for
Yeah,
a
we
while.
did.
Yeah, we did. And we only fell off because, hey guys, don't know what's going on with the beginning of this year, but it's been bad. It's been bad.
Well, the
bad,
whole
bad,
city
bad.
caught on fire, so that was not a good
It's
start.
crazy.
That was not a good start.
That was not a good start. But you
And-
guys also did, we've talked about the Artist Way before, but Morgan and Madison did the Artist Way together, or like started it.
We started it
You've
together.
done it
It's another thing we
before, have
started
you
together
not?
and haven't finished. I have always started it and gotten to probably week 5 and then
What happens during week 5 that scares you
no.
out there?
What are you
It's
so?
not
Yeah, let's
scary.
jump into it. What are you so afraid of?
She doesn't want to get to 7, 8, 9. Oh, I almost fucked up. I did fuck up the joke, the children's joke.
It's more of just a consistency thing, and then I think if I didn't do it consistently, I can't go forward, and I would have to start it all over again. And so I've done that for the past few years and started it all over again.
I don't think that's. I think that doesn't that like defeat the purpose, or does it have to be consistent?
So you guys may be noticing we're all wearing one thing that's the same. You might be saying, you might guess, oh, a smile because you're in the warm embrace and friendship in Madison's bedroom. No. Well, that too. But we're also wearing oddly crowns.
Oddly birthday crowns. They should be out now, but by this time I think they're going to be sold out. So sorry, they might come back.
I'm going to be reselling them on Amazon.
For $400.
I'm going to be selling them. I'm going to be open a AliExpress account so I can drop ship I love drop shipping. I love AliExpress. I love Amazon.
Temu.
Amazon,
Temu.
TikTok, TikTok shop, storefronts. You know what we need to do more of? Storefronts. We need to drop ethical shopping and ethical making and manufacturing of things, and we need to promote.
Morgan
to the front.
said it before. No more doctors need to put down the scalpel and pick up a TikTok shop.
Doctors need to have kids to put those kids in sweatshops.
Jesus.
Guys, this is the worst topic we could have for me.
What's your okay?
Oh wait,
now
no.
your take.
Wait. I wanted to talk about the crowns. So I just did a little dumpster diving because I couldn't find my crown and I thought I threw it away. So I'm not Dylan. In case you're confused, I am Jaden, but my crown does say Dill. I had to steal Dylan's. But Madison's birthday was how many days ago? Like 4 days ago, 3 days ago, and we threw her a little surprise. Her second surprise party in a row, except this one was fully a surprise. She had no idea.
None at all.
She came. So okay.
It took me a full 15 minutes, I think, to collect what was actually happening.
Yeah, you were silent for a little bit, just looking around with your jaw on the floor. But so the night before Madison's birthday, I went to the role model show with my friends, and I knew that Madison's birthday was the next day, and we were gonna have this like surprise like roof craft party. And I thought that it would. I didn't even think about this until it happened. But once it happened, it all came pieced together in my mind. I was at the bar, and the bartender was lovely. His name is Harry. He's probably like, how old do you think he is? Because I was saying like 70, 60,
yeah,
70.
70.
Like full, like white hair. He's just, oh my God. And he was the best time ever. He was like pointing to me across the bar, and then I'd look at him, I'd point back, and he'd go, and I just, oh my God, we just loved each other. And I leaned over the bar and I said, what are you doing tomorrow from 2 to 5? And he said, you tell me. And I said, can you come to my best friend's birthday party and bartend? All you have to do is open beer bottles and pour wine. And that man did not fail. He'd made sure nobody's glass was empty.
No, not a glass.
Literally.
Phenomenal. I'd hire him for my wedding.
I would hire him for my wedding. I love him to death. And
As
at
the
the end,
groom.
I was
Mind
like,
you also,
tip your bartenders. Go on.
my surprise, I walk through the door and he's the first person I see.
This 70-year-old
man with a
sitting in
birthday crown and a bottle of wine in his hand approaching me with a glass of wine, and then I look around and also one of our friends had a bunch of their
It was like
friends,
Emma's
family in
sister,
town.
boyfriend, and her best friend. So like the first
I
corner.
see all these people I do not know with
thanks.
birthday crowns. And I was like,
we
trying
thought
to
that you
figure-
were coming in through the other door. Like we thought you were coming up those stairs, so that's why we were all on that back end. And then she was like, which makes way more sense that they would come
That's
in through
so
Ivy's
funny.
door.
That
But
makes
we
sense.
were like, oh hey, and Morgan was laying on the ground.
I was.
Yeah, it was
But it was really,
Because
really
we were,
exciting.
well, when we were all thought you were coming through that way, we were like, looked over the balcony at Ivy's, and then we saw, I literally was like sitting on the chair, not giving a fuck, and then I look over and I see Ivy and you getting out of your car at the top of the hill. I was like, they can see at least 7 people right
in
now.
Morgan's
And
6'5"
yeah.
towering
I
body.
was like, whoa, fee, fi, fo. And I was like, hey, y'all, they can definitely see us. Get to the ground. It felt like a fucking GI mission, GI Joe
Yeah,
mission.
we were all squatting, laying down. It was really cute
It was
though.
really, really, really
There was
special.
painting.
Yeah, we painted.
Yeah.
We made these
Sewing.
crowns, Jensen. You can't.
That's what it was. It was a whole craft day.
Yeah.
Because crafting is my favorite thing
She
to
loves
do.
to craft. She loves to
And
paint.
it was
and
really, really,
draw.
really sweet. That nothing made me happier. Also, I don't think I really even made anything the whole day, but everyone else was. And that was the coolest thing. Like,
Because people usually don't take the time to do that.
Yeah.
Besides, like you, I feel like you and Jensen are really the only ones who are like constantly doing like a little something like stimulating.
Yeah.
XX for you, sister.
Oh, I have been crafting.
Yeah.
I've been crafting. No,
you really have.
yeah, I have. I've been making. I made Madison a journal for her birthday.
Oh my God. It's so
Me
beautiful.
and
It's
Morgan
so
went to a
good.
leather store and I got like a big old hide of leather, and I was trying to make her a Louise Carmen journal because I wanted to get her one for her birthday. Couldn't get on the phone with them to like customize it perfectly, so I was like, oh, why don't I just make one? I feel like she'd love that so much more. And I went in there and I was like, oh, maybe I can just buy like a little like A5 measurement of the leather and make that. And he's like, no, you got to buy the whole thing. But the whole thing of leather was $150, and the journals range from like $200 to $400, and I could make like 15 journals.
Yeah.
Like I made one for Morgan for like a little practice.
Swing back around. We're drop shipping AliExpress. We're cheap labor, cheap items, quick.
I forgot.
Guys,
not
why do we hate
everyone
my
listening
idea?
to
No,
this
no,
isn't
I think
seeing
it's a
it.
great idea. And
I think let's skip ethics this year.
yeah, this title of the podcast,
Skipping ethics.
Skipping
all
Ethics in
2025.
2025. We'll swing back around in 2020. 2026 is next year.
Dude, I know.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's like mid-April. It's the beginning of April,
Yeah,
but
maybe
still.
the middest April I've ever been. But no, that's all jokes. That's all jokes. I hate face fashion. I hate drop shipping.
Faced fashion.
I hate TikTok shop, except that fucking tartar gum got
Oh
me.
yeah, the gum got
the
us
fucking
both.
tartar.
I was chewing on one of those yesterday.
It tastes like fucking shit.
Oh yeah, but I have a cavity that's like fully visible, and I don't think that's. Oh my crown. Bad. If you see my pit stains, don't say anything about them, please. Speaking of drop shipping, no. Speaking of, let's go into the nice world of fashion. Madison, if you don't know Madison, maybe you're just popping in. You've never seen any of us before. Maybe you haven't seen Madison. Madison is
She's the one, right?
she's the one. Madison is the number one, has the best style. Like everything that I do when I'm really wanting to do something and not just wear, hey, the photo I posted on my story yesterday with the was it the swag song? What's that?
Oh, turn my swag on.
Turn my swag on. Yeah, I wear basketball shorts and like a orange boys basketball t-shirt. When I actually want to try, Madison is like I picture her in my mind. That's what would Madison Wild do?
She's the muse.
We always say, what would Madison Wild do? She is our muse. She is just dresses incredible. She can make things just with her bare hands that you would be like, you didn't make that. Come on, no, you didn't.
No, you know what I was laughing about though? I think that's the difference between us. Like, I make things all the time, but it's usually you're like, yeah, of course you did.
I don't think that's true though. Like, sure, but because that's kind of your style. Your style is like you want it to be a little like roughed up and like wonky.
Jaden really makes things, and I don't even recognize.
She didn't know that the journal.
Because
no,
it was
Jaden
done
was like
so
offended
well.
for a second.
It was so well done. I just didn't actually think that was.
And then once I
something
learned that, I
made.
wasn't.
She didn't even think
anymore.
that was possible that you
I
could
don't
even
know, it was
have
just
the
perfect.
ability to
And
make
my
something
chocolate
like
covered
that.
strawberries on her birthday were pristine.
Those are also
I went in there with the
pristine. Those are my
drizzle.
favorite things.
Yeah, but no. So back to her, because this podcast is about her. This episode is about her. Madison's just incredible, and she's been like working in fashion, studying fashion-esque things for a really long time. She's loved fashion her whole life because she says she always would try on her mommy's stuff. And I want to give her the mic, and I want her to tell you a little bit more about why she loves it so much and why it's so important to her and what it means to her. If you want to take over the mic.
Yeah, that's a cute question. I've spent so much time thinking about this, I think, because I think everyone has those things that they are just really innately drawn to when you're young and you don't really know why. And I have all of these other interests in my life, and I've always wondered if this is where I should go. And then every time I wonder about it, I think back to how I've always gone to this as my medium of, I think my expression isn't the right word, but what I've realized I love about it so much is the way that I'm able to communicate myself to the world through it. And I've kind of talked a bit about that online, and I think that always comes up in a lot of my conversations, but I think that's what's so important about it for me.
And you do it in such a good way that like genuinely has the kiss of Madison on it.
No, it really is like, I feel like we lack a lot of originality nowadays because everything's a trend. And not that you don't follow trends in a way, but there's a difference between it being something that's like cycled out so quickly and something that because of course you want to like take inspiration from other people, and you absolutely take inspiration from other people, and you love Pinterest and whatever, but like I feel like you're somebody, which maybe I'm not on the right. I'm sure there's a million people like you that's I feel like
I'm sure you're not that original.
I'm sure you're not that original. Yeah. No, I mean, like, I'm sure there are more people that do really have this like distinct sense of like self and style that I maybe don't see because they're not coming up for me like on TikTok or whatever it is. But like because you're what's in my range of media, like I get to see that from you, and I just haven't seen it before, and that's why I think that you're so awesome.
That's very sweet. Thank you. I think also something important for me to accept about that is that was not the case my whole life. And I think it took me a really long time to figure that out and for it to feel natural, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can completely agree with that because I was just going through my old archived Instagram posts, and I was like showing to one of my coworkers, because I've had that Instagram since I was 12, and I haven't like deleted anything. It goes in the archive, it stays there.
Damn.
And she was showing her, and she was like, "You were like ugly," and I was like, "Yeah, I love when people say that." I'm like, "Yes, that is so true," because I'm not now.
But also, like, you gotta be a little ugly to like get the personality.
And like, it's truly something that like I've been thinking about this a lot recently. The ability to be wrong and the ability to take inspiration from others and use it in your own way is such a beautiful and good thing. And it's so nice to be able to, because to admit that you're wrong is the beginning steps of growing, and you will never grow if you always think that you're at the forefront of everything. Yeah. No one's going to be at the forefront of everything for their entire life. You're not going to be on top of the world and inventing everything. You might see something and be like, I'll do that differently. That's still taking inspiration.
I also think that that's how everything comes to be, whether you're directly doing it or not. There's a million influences every day. Our thoughts don't come from nowhere. It's a build up our entire life, and there's half the time, you'll even do something and not even realize why you did it, and then see the reference that you saw years ago or something and realize that was stored in you somewhere. With what you're saying about being ugly. On the topic of you being ugly,
We're
So
gonna
once
have to
again-
set
Yeah,
aside
we're-
40 minutes for the rest of the episode.
I think we're gonna need another episode.
So let's start with the nose.
wait, no, do you have something to say
Yes.
about that? Okay.
I was just gonna say, I have also had to spend a lot of time almost forgiving a version of myself that I hated at the time.
Mhm.
I know I hated, and now I also feel, I guess, embarrassed of the period of time where I knew I wasn't being myself and I didn't know how to really figure out what that meant and figure out how to make it feel good. And I've spent a lot of time trying to kind of hug that past version of me, all those past versions of me, and accept them as this version couldn't exist without them.
Exactly.
And
You wouldn't
if-
be who you are now if all those versions
Yeah.
didn't exist.
And for a listener, if they were wanting to dive into that process, if you can remember what were your like first steps into kind of being like stepping into the person you wanted to be based off your past references.
I think the biggest switch, I've always loved experimenting with things, and I've always kind of had fun with fashion, but there was a part of me that would not allow myself to do things I actually liked. I don't know how to explain that, but it was not one day, it was probably a gradual thing of realizing, hey, I can do that too. I deserve that too. From something as simple as a bag that I thought was so cool, but just was reserved for someone so much cooler than me. I don't know how to explain that.
No, that
but
kind of makes sense.
that really,
It's like what
that's still something
what is
I
the
deal with, I think.
Imposter?
imposter syndrome? I feel like that has a lot to
guess
do with like
I've-
imposter
yeah.
syndrome. It's like, oh well, like I'm not like cool enough to have that bag, or
Yeah.
I'm not like
Yeah.
that person yet, or that's reserved for someone whose style that is. Like,
It's like, it's just their style because they bought it and they're wearing it,
Yeah,
and they
it's
put it on
not-
their body.
I
and
have another
that's-
question. Do you? Because I feel like I've talked about this with like Courtney, and do you feel like anything can be original now with how long Earth has been Earth and people have been alive, and like, do you think that there is still something like original that can be like completely original without taking inspiration from something else?
Yes and no, I think. Originality is a very complicated topic, and how to define that. I think people can do something or have a take on something or express an idea in a way that hasn't been done before. But do I think that there are,
It stems from something.
it always stems from something, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think there's a really beautiful way for things to be done differently. Even think about the stories we tell. We're telling the same stories that the Bible was telling, that Greek mythology was telling. It's like, even in movies, these stories are told over and over again.
Yeah.
These tropes, there's things like that.
Disney
and-
remakes.
The sequel's never as good as
I was
the
like,
first.
never as good as the first one.
I don't know. I think that's okay also.
Yeah.
And that kind of like ties in with the like I've just really been obsessed with the idea of being wrong and the idea of like failing. It's like what you were saying about doing something that you know you'll like. It's like sort of when you want to, in my mind, when you want to succeed or you want to be good at something, you have to do something hard and you have to do something
And
you're
out of
going to
your
fail at.
comfort
Very
And you-
scary.
And you
Just
got to do
scary.
something scary. Like you have to push yourself to this limit constantly.
And
And
you're-
even if there's something directly in front of you that is good for you and will also be just as good as the thing, just because it isn't difficult and hard,
Yeah.
you shouldn't do it because
Well,
it's
we're
a
scared of
lesson.
change. Like,
Yeah.
I think just like innately, even though it's great for us and we're we're ever changing human beings, like change is scary. Whether you say you like it or not, it's freaky because it's like out of our comfort zone and you're stepping into the unknown. It's like, this might
Our
not go
bodies
well.
are wired to do that too.
Right.
And I think that's something to remember, is that when you have those voices of being afraid of something, that's not you being weak. That's your body just trying to keep you safe, and it can't connect your thoughts with its feelings and
Yeah.
the,
It's just trying to like
chemicals and-
protect us. It's
Yeah.
like, this feels good. Like, we've been doing this. Why do we want to change that? I feel I'm happy.
Yeah.
Okay, but like, I'm not happy. The heart
Right,
and the brain aren't
right.
connecting.
And I think the more that you do things and you fail, I literally also talked to my therapist about this last week, about how I had such a hard time making decisions. And we ended up getting into this conversation where she asked me, okay, so I talked about this mistake I made and I was so upset about it. And she asked me, oh, do you feel like you're allowed to make mistakes, right? Just kind of as
in a broad way.
Yeah, not really supposed to be a hypothetical,
Yeah.
as if like the answer should absolutely be yes. And I literally looked at her and I said, fuck, no,
Wait,
I guess not.
No. Me? I didn't make a mistake.
But I think the more that you prove to yourself that you can make a mistake and everything will be okay and fine, it gets a little easier to allow yourself to make mistakes and allow yourself to do things where you know you are going to be really bad at first. And most things you are going to be really bad at.
Right. It's very rare that there are like, I think about musicians as a good example of this. Like, they can like pick up an instrument when they're really little and just be good at it, or like something like singing. Like, people just have that natural talent, but you also can like go to like voice lessons, and there are things like you have to. A lot of the things you have to practice, like sewing. I really want to start sewing. I don't know how to sew right now, but like you don't just know how to work a sewing machine without like practicing.
Yeah.
I feel like that is the case for 90% of things.
And it mainly like comes down to like mindset and like your view of the world around things. Like when Madison, like I love like sitting in here and watching you like put together an outfit and like just seeing the variations of like one piece you're like really sticking on and then you're trying to work around it and then you're like actually trash it and then you're
throw
like,
the whole thing away.
and then you're like you have like a new thing and then you're like let's see and then you're like I'll keep that one thing and then you like cycle through and I love seeing that.
And then sometimes she comes back to the first one she put on 4 hours ago.
Sometimes I scream and cry.
But no, and I like that process that you do because it's just like it's sort of a micro dose of being wrong over and over again until you get right.
Oh, that's a really good point. And I think that also brings up such a I don't know, that's a really cool connection to me because I think that brings up such an important part of this conversation too, is that you can want to learn how to do something, but the actual to be able to do it, but the actual process of learning it is the fun part.
Right.
Once you
the
can
journey.
I know that sounds so ridiculous
No,
and silly, and
true.
people say it.
Most
but
of the cliches
was it
are
the
really
journey?
fucking real.
They are, and there's a
No.
reason for it. And we've lost a lot of that, I do think, with the internet and access to things so quickly. And
We need to get back in the library.
we got to get back in the library.
I went to a library recently.
Really?
I did not have a good time.
Why?
Oh my God, yeah, you told me
I-
about this. You hated it.
What
No.
happened?
So one of my artist dates was that you're supposed to do something, and I wanted to go to a library for quite literally half a year.
Yeah.
But I could not. Drive to it. I couldn't bring myself to go to the library for God knows what reason. And then I was like, I'm gonna make that my artist date. And then I felt so shitty because I just went and I just picked out random books and I just sat there and I felt like such a fucking fool. And I was just sitting at a fucking table.
Point of a library to go and pick out random books.
No, I was just like sitting through and I was like looking through them and I was like, you're fucking dumb.
They know
Like,
this is my first time at
They
the
know
library.
this is my.
They're chanting, this is just, he doesn't go to the library.
Everyone
this is
was
his
looking,
first
pointing
time.
at me and saying, that is the least intentional man I've ever seen in my whole entire goddamn life.
He has
'Cause
no idea.
He doesn't even have a library card.
I literally was sitting there and I was feeling so bad because I was like, I fucking flopped. Like, I should have been way more intentional about this. Like, I did have a good time, like, underlying, but then I like felt bad about not being intentional going to the library in the first place, that I just
But
left
it was
and sat in the park.
intentional. Like, you went to the library.
Yeah.
I know, but then I was like, I should have learned a lot. I should have left.
And
Honestly,
therein lies the problem.
I
I
should've-
should have gotten something.
I should have left with my brain like this. Ow, 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 ow.
ooh,
So much
ooh, it's
knowledge in
full.
there.
I really did used to love the library.
Oh, I love the library.
In college, I went to FIT and we had a
Well, you
really
guys have beautiful
cool
library. Like, New York has a lot of, like...
Oh, I just made that face because FIT is built like a prison. I love
No,
that.
I don't
Oh,
mean...
get me wrong.
No, I don't mean
yeah, in New
FIT
York.
specifically. It's built like a damn prison.
It's really funny, but I loved
Is
it.
it actually?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Madison went to FIT, if you're not catching on to that. What did you... Sturdy.
My major was fashion business management, and I minored in ethics and sustainability.
Minor.
And I specialized in product development.
She's gonna be developing a product, let me tell you.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
wasn't even into anything. She has nothing to tell you.
I have
No.
nothing to tell you.
But
let me tell you.
Maybe one day I will. Sorry, guys. What was I not supposed to
Why?
No.
You said
Like-
maybe, bitch. Don't ever say maybe.
Yeah, don't say maybe. You will.
I will.
Yeah. What do you, as much as you want to like tell, because I know I have this thing sometimes where I'm like, oh, I don't want to like say things and jinx it or whatever. But like, what are you excited for, like future wise? Like, what do you want to get into? Like, what would you like to expand your kind of personal brand into?
I think when I think about it in my little dreams, I do imagine having a brand. I think I want to make everything I see every day. I wish I could make my version of it. And I think I could do that one day. Clothing, jewelry seem like a normal place to start. Shoes, it's just obviously these things are all things that have their own certain craft to them.
Shoes is a big one. Those fucking flower heels that you made.
Yeah.
With the vine on my mind.
Wow.
Subconscious.
On my mind.
I'm working on another little shoe project right now. I'm actually very excited about. But I would love to make furniture too and home things, especially when even just decorating this place. Why could I not find towels that I liked? Why could I not?
Yeah.
There's so I know that sounds so
that's
silly,
where
but
the like new fun stuff comes from. Is someone's just like, why isn't that there? Wait, like,
why
why don't we
isn't
have
that
that?
there?
Because you search too.
I do.
Like Madison knows how to like curate a perfectly searched thing and find exactly what she needs. If it's there, I cannot.
And that's the thing. I'm always looking
Google
for
reverse
something.
image Google search from my mind.
I think I have an idea in my head of what I'm looking for, but it doesn't exist. So I think one day I've just got to make those.
Just have to make it.
I want to make stuff. I think I said this to our friend Ellie one day, co-owner, founder of Oddly, where the crowns are from. I don't know. I was making something and I was like, yeah, I just feel like I try to make things I just wish existed. And she was like, that should be your brand slogan or something. I don't know.
Well, that's also,
I want to make things I wish existed. That's really all.
I feel like we have so many brands that are like repeats of each other, you know, like there's
like
a lot of activewear brands that all kind of look the same. There's a lot of basics and
the rise of the basic tee, the baggy jean. It's like,
are you speaking
are
to
you
someone
clocking
personally
her
at all?
tea?
For listeners, I am wearing a
sleeve?
baggy jean and a basic tee. Thanks,
No, but
Morgan.
you have like you also like your version of like a little t-shirt is so different than like this is
you're a freaking mastermind, Madison.
Mastermind.
No, I think it's just like when people talk about fashion, and I want your take on this. It's just like the death of individuality because of how fast the trend cycle is moving, and also like how easy it is to get things at such a low cost. Like, oh, TikTok shop, you can buy this $6 basic tee. And they're like, well, yeah, I'd rather
all
get...
costs the same amount of money.
Yeah,
right?
and it's like, when you look at like the older generations where there would be like a specific style, people are talking like 2000s, 90s, 80s, 70s.
Well, and there's a
like
reason that all of those clothes are still around. Like the reason that vintage is a thing is because like those things were made with such like love and such quality and such good fabrics, and like those Shein, those Temu tops, they're gonna disintegrate in the next like 5 years.
And it's even just like even the athleisure they were wearing back then was like fun and cool and individual, and now it's just like, what is our generation bringing to the table to solidify our 20s?
Yeah.
Like, what is a 20s generation going to look like for fashion? Because even the 2010s had something.
Yeah.
It wasn't good, but they had it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't even know exactly like when the rise of like fast fashion was exactly.
I do actually. So it was right around 2000 to 2010 was kind of the main era of when that started happening. There's this quote from Donna Karan, and they were talking about overseas production, and she basically said it. I don't know where it was, but it was somewhere published that everyone heard in it. Yeah. Everyone switched over. But she basically just said there's nowhere that you can produce clothes faster, cheaper, and something else. I don't know. And that created this entire new wave of things. Now. But also I think the way I kind of get through these things is sometimes you can get mad at yourself and be like, why am I falling into this trap? If you do buy things like that or whatever,
it's
or
hard
get mad
not
at us.
To though, because it is
that's
like
what I'm saying.
It is cheaper, and not everyone can afford like the nicer quality. And you don't want to be supporting like a fast fashion brand, but it's like sometimes I do need to buy a $10 tank top because I can't afford a $60 tank top. It's like it.
The shirt's from Urban, and I love it so much.
Right. It's so hard not to do it. Some of it is really nice, and some of it is something I haven't seen before. But it's like I don't want to be, but it's hard when it's all around us, and it's so I don't know.
Well, also this was something. So there's something called planned obsolescence, which is basically making things to break. And it was actually in government plans. I think it's after World War II. I would love, if you're interested in this, to actually look up the facts on it because I can't remember everything properly. But it was a true way to improve our economy and just make people buy more things. So they literally made kind of a statement, I guess, to manufacturers and everything to make things worse so people had to buy more, like refrigerators and appliances.
Well,
and
that's why. Have you seen like the old refrigerators and like the cabinets, and there was like Lazy Susans inside it, more, you know what I mean? Like
that's
everything
even, like,
was functional.
The vacuum thing, like people are posting online, they're like, grandparents still using the vacuum they got from the 70s or 80s.
Yeah, because it doesn't break in 2 years.
Yeah.
Like,
and the ones you get here, they're like 2-year warranty, 2 year and 1 day. That thing's gonna
gonna explode on the, oh my God. Yeah, it sucks.
And it's also okay to sometimes get angry at our government and not at each other, because we're all just a victim of it. Also, that has bred this culture where we get so much satisfaction from getting new things, from getting them quickly, this instant gratification. That's what we're used to. That's how our culture and our society functions. I love going for a little shop and getting something new. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, of course.
And
that also in itself gives you like a little high. Like everyone likes, and everyone wants to feel pretty and have some, you want to feel pretty. You want to put on a new outfit. Everyone else is wearing a new outfit. I want a new outfit.
Right. And it's okay to, understand that.
And I think that's what, like, stepping into like the thrifting world and secondhand world of it all. First off, I want to say, fuck Goodwill, fuck Savers.
Yeah.
You are a for-profit thrift store.
Agree.
Fuck
you, Savers.
You literally get things by donation.
They're not paying for anything, but they're like electricity. And then they ask you for if you want to tip the store.
And then you have a fucking worker with a warrior cut that knows that that is a Chrome Heart shirt, that those are True Religion jeans, that knows that is worth money, and they are going to charge it $50 as a for-profit thrift store. You need to die.
And you know what? Don't you dare blame people thrifting for that. I'm sorry. That's corporate.
Well, because there is enough clothes. There are enough clothes to go around.
There's too much, guys. I think that's what we need to remember. I can't remember the exact statistic, but I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on this. I think it's around like 80% of things in thrift stores end up not getting sold and go to landfills. And hey, they're going to landfills and they're going to third world countries, and we're already, oh my God, I can't even get into it. Sorry.
And Morgan and I went into Goodwill the other day because I had to get a button up like really quickly for a white button up for the podcast promo. For the podcast promo. And I'm like looking at this button up and I'm like, it's like, one of them I looked at was like $15.
Yeah.
And I was like,
and it's like
why?
Goodfellow and Co. You're selling Goodfellow and Co.
That was
for
probably
$20?
new. Less than what you're selling it for. Like, that is insane.
Yeah.
But to Madison, when I'm literally looking at your wardrobe right now, I am seeing
much better view than the chicken leg on my balcony.
We're keeping it there.
We're keeping it there. Oh,
it's growing.
Go on.
But when I see your closet and like where you get things, like you shop secondhand, you thrift a lot, you shop online, you're like on Etsy and stuff like that. And I think you do get clothes here and there, but you do like I've seen you take many times something you've worn before and just reimagine it. And I think that is gonna segue this into the ChatGPT issue of this world, is not you're losing your autonomy over your mind and your body by having someone else tell you what to do with everything else. Yeah. So it's even when it comes down to fashion.
What are we wearing this summer, girls? Whatever you want.
Yeah, it's like you need to like look at something and like have like a little bit of a brain ache to think about how you could wear it differently. Yeah. And I think that's where you can have a decent amount of clothes, you can have a nice wardrobe and not need to get more clothes. You can just reimagine the things you already have over and over in different ways that are fun, fresh, and new. But it's like this, again, moving into the AI section we're heading to into history, where a lot of people are asking ChatGPT what to eat for dinner every night.
Yeah, that's really fascinating.
I saw something that said, ask ChatGPT like what to get for, or it was like, okay, I have $100. Like, what should I get from this grocery store? And I'm like, sure. But like, can you not like look up a recipe, go into the store and like do the math yourself? You know what I mean? It's
you're using your like genuinely 80% of our generation's minds are going to be actual mush because of not being able to do things like that.
Everyone's just turned off their brains, like social media, AI stuff. Like, I've seen so many videos recently about how horrible children are in school now. Like kindergarten, like they don't want to learn. They don't want to learn. They don't know how to be told no. Like, I'm very scared for the like up and coming generation. Like, teachers don't want to be teachers anymore because it's impossible to teach someone who doesn't want to be taught. Yeah. And the parents are enabling that as well.
No.
Because I work in a restaurant and I see this a lot. Parents don't give a fuck. Like, their child is screaming, throwing a tantrum. That sound to them is as a bee buzzing by.
It's white noise for them.
They don't do anything. And if they do anything, they're like, here's a fucking Cocoa Melon. Let me drink.
You want your iPad? Oh, sticky.
Yeah. And it's just like, that's a whole nother topic. Parents. But we're having our Chapel Roan interview moment. But I want to hear your take on your re-envisioning, like how you like to re-envision the clothes you wear. Like what's your process for when you are looking for new things secondhand, like online, vintage? Because a lot of people are have like this deterrent from going to a thrift store because it is a lot. It's overstimulating. Like, and you really do have to be committed to it.
I think the first thing I was thinking about when we were talking about all of this, going back to even what are we wearing this summer kind of videos, is I think that brings up kind of having to face the question of, okay, are you going to be happy and satisfied and fulfilled by just constantly getting an end product the quickest you can, whether that's groceries or an essay written or whatever you're using these automated things for, or someone else telling you what to do? Are you just happy that someone told you what to wear? Or would you be enjoying your life and your brain more if you had to go through the process of learning those things yourself? And I think that's the most important part of it, is like, yeah, we can get to all of these things in an easy way. And I guess
the satisfaction like isn't there.
I don't think I would be excited
to the journey
about
thing, the really cliche, like the journey is the
what
is
sorry,
that
it really
quote?
Does. Enjoy the ride. Or no, it's life is a highway.
No, that is a highway.
I actually did totally put
Fuck
that on the other day.
Flats, sorry.
Oh fuck, I'll tell you something.
Wait, what? I'm looking up the quote.
I think it's like, it's not about the destination.
It's about it's not about the destination, it's how you get there. Something, I don't know. You know what we're talking about. Something about the journey. But that's so real for even like small things. Like, if somebody just hands you something versus like working for it, like, you're going to appreciate it a lot more. Like, I even like buying my own first car instead of like my parents getting that for me, you know, like, I wanted to take better care of it. Not that I'm trashing things that other people are giving me, but like, it's like when something's your baby, when you worked for something, you appreciate it a lot more. And I think that that's the case for so many things, whether it's a meal that you like slaved over or an outfit that you made or a journal that you made yourself. Like, hey Papa.
Yeah.
Come on,
I don't want to show my back.
I really feel like that's part of solving the problem too, because it's like when we're looking for these things, we're looking for someone to tell us what to wear. We're looking for happiness and joy and feeling good about ourselves and excitement and a positive emotion coming from that. And if that's really our end goal, maybe we can look at the ways that we're actually going to get to that. And I think that's important about solving all of this. Is what our actual objective is in taking these shortcuts to things. Or do you get what I'm saying?
I do. And I mean, I am guilty of those things as well. I think that we all, it's hard not to. Morgan's not. You're not guilty of it.
No,
you're
Morgan's
perfect.
perfect.
It's just, social media has just made me like, for a really long time, like a shell of a human. Like, I didn't know who I was for so long. I look back on my old videos and I'm wearing like, oh my God, like, just what I was wearing, how I was acting. Like, I was like, I don't know that girl. Like, I don't, you know, I don't know her. Because I wasn't me. I was so many different versions of people that I was like pulling, like style not even inspiration. Like I was fully like cookie cutter copying people, like, you know.
I do think that's how you figure it out, though.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah, I have had a strange life in a regard to like my own autonomy and I even like wrote an article about this where like I was raised extremely religious and then I left the church and then I, unbeknownst to me, like designated a certain person as like my God in a sense, where like in my, like wasn't like referring to them as God or like worshiping them or whatever, but in a sense they were like this beacon of wisdom and light and like what I should be doing with my life. And basically I had followed like had this pattern in my life where it was just like not a good person calling the shots in my life, and just me not realizing that I completely had the right and the ability to just do what I wanted to do. And over the last 2 years, I've like really had to like break free from that and like learn, what do I actually want? What do I want to do? Like, who am I? Because I've essentially been like this fucking Robin to some Batman for my entire fucking life, and I didn't
really
even realize.
It's easy to lose your sense of self nowadays, you know.
Yeah. And I think it's been like a really, really exciting, the journey. Because one of the key moments, and I think I've talked about this in an earlier episode, is when I was like, felt like music and music taste was kind of like out of my reach. Like it was kind of gatekept from me from certain things in my past. And then I just randomly got an old Rolling Stones one night and I just read through it and I I listened to the music of the artist while I read it. And there was like from the 1995. And I made a whole playlist of all these musicians and their interviews that I was listening to. And it like really made me realize like, oh, I can just do this shit and I can find something that I really like for me. Like I don't need to do something for the joy of someone else and I'm getting secondhand satisfaction.
Yeah.
Really
secondhand satisfaction is really real.
I didn't know that was how your kind of music journey started.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
No, because it did really, it felt gatekept for me for a very long time because it was kind of like a situation where I was like, find something interesting and it would either be shat on or it would be like, oh, well, you would never even
You're like,
know.
no, I dug for this. I read for this.
You wouldn't even know about that unless it was for me and from me. And I was just like, I don't even want to like further like that part musically because I don't want to start a fight.
I do think it's funny how nowadays, like, if you post to, I've seen this a lot with like Sublime, like people would be posting to Sublime and everyone's like, oh, the TikTok, like, sure, there is like a lot of TikTokification of like music nowadays, but having somebody tell you just because you posted a TikTok video with a sound from, and then be like, you found it from TikTok. It's like, people could have had this music taste before
also,
it was online.
Okay, if you did,
and
you
that's
still
great.
like it the same as the 50-year-old dad who found it when he was a kid in a back alley listening to it.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter how you found it. And I think that is
gatekeeping music is really insane to me because especially for like the artist's sake, I do think, I mean, you know how like Fiona Apple took all her music off of TikTok because she didn't like the videos being made with it, which I think is very valid. But like finding it's just a different way to find music. Like we're not listening to the radio anymore. TikTok is kind of our radio, and God forbid somebody finds a new artist or a new song that they like and they listen to it now, you know?
Yeah, I think that's so weird. The only requirement for something to feel like you or to like something is to like it, to enjoy it.
Literally.
Hey guys, that's totally fine.
God forbid you find new music.
God forbid.
God forbid. But yes, to build off of that kind of, it really is it's kind of like a stressful situation to be like, feel like you're playing behind in like identity and style and taste. But it is really just something that you can cultivate over time because like, initially when we were all becoming friends, I was like, I don't think I'm cool enough to like be hanging out with them. And I'd be like,
Insane.
fuck, I'm going to Echo Park like tonight. Like, what if I look fucking stupid?
Morgan, I'm going to Mid-City tonight. What if I wear a big fur coat and Morgan makes fun of me?
And I did. But it's just like also, hey, realizing that your friends aren't fucking horrible people.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be like, what are you wearing?
Why do you look like that?
Wait, I didn't realize it was the dummy night to wear dummy clothes tonight convention. Man, you'll fit right in, buddy. No. Hey, my friends are nice. That's a fun, hey, what a lucky boy I am.
Nice friends are really, really in right now.
Oh, they're so in. Guys, I was thinking about that this morning. We didn't talk about really what we were going to talk about, so I think I was really nervous at first. But the one thing I was thinking about before we started filming was how important dancing with my friends has been.
Oh, yeah.
In my past year. We love to dance.
That day that Madison was filming something, like tying our little shoes on the ground.
Oh my God.
Me and Morgan came in with the speaker just bouncing around.
It was this brand deal I had, and it was supposed to be just me, and you guys literally came in like jumping, dancing around, and then the video turned into this little day with my friends, not meaning to at all, and it was so beautiful. But the amount of mornings I've woken up, Morgan doesn't live here. You wouldn't know that.
You would not know that.
It seems like, hey, I don't live here, but I know the layout.
But we can't get him to
leave. He's always here.
But the amount of mornings I've woken up and you guys are here. And
or you come back from Ivy's and we're in your bed with
and Morgan's in my bed, or whoever's in my bed, which is my favorite thing on the planet. Literally, my day is a million times better, and we'll just put music on and dance and
feel our bodies.
And also we are not conscious of what's going on with our bodies for anyone else other than ourselves. Like, we're very conscious. Do you get what I'm saying?
Like,
I'm not worried about how you guys are perceiving.
It's such a
I'll
that's
be doing the craziest
I've had to work on for so long.
Nobody's looking at you.
Nobody's looking at
literally.
you. We're all looking
dance like no one's watching.
You guys, in a very big way, have helped me break out of like a very large insecure pattern, because I am a very insecure person.
Yeah.
And I.
Yeah,
we can tell. But no, I am a very insecure person. But it's just like about how I'm perceived. I'm making up this person over there, and he's saying you look stupid. He doesn't.
What was that? Make your bad thoughts like a funny cartoon character.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you told me? Yeah, that's somebody good. Or like somebody you hate. Wait, what was it?
It's make the internal monologue saying the bad thoughts to you the most like insufferable character in like a cartoon or a movie or something.
Somebody you would never believe.
And I did the kid from the Polar Express.
The nerdy one?
Yeah, he's so fucking
good.
annoying. Because why am I going to listen to his annoying
I would
ass
never
like
listen
that?
to him.
I've done this, but I've imagined it a little more like the green girl in Inside Out.
Disgust.
But I kind of respect her.
I kind of respect her too.
Okay, maybe I need to get a way worse one and be like, okay, girl, get up.
I really respect disgust.
That's crazy. I have really made my anxiety too. I try and think about it as like the anxious one in Inside Out too. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. It's okay.
I kind of want to hold. Well,
yeah,
you should
and maybe I
hold
should
and protect your anxiety, but also like.
But I don't think I should respect my shaming voice. Maybe we gotta.
Yeah, no, get them out. Also,
Maybe
Madison keeps talking about how much she loves like coming home when we're here and blah blah blah. But Madison's moving out. In case anyone cares, this is actually our goodbye.
Don't say
You're never gonna see us together again.
No, hey guys, I'm literally gonna live within a 2.2 mile radius.
Well, that's the new lore. Madison and I will not be living together anymore, and I know whoever doesn't listen to this, and whenever we mention that happening, everyone's gonna think that like we're not friends anymore. That would never happen. But she wants to live in a different place, and I'm moving into this room. So once we're doing our it's gonna be a different layout. Okay, I'm gonna do my own thing. Because I don't cookie cutter copy anymore.
No,
but
you're the inventor.
Yeah, I'm gonna move into Maddie's room, and then who knows who's gonna end up living with me? But I'm scared.
Maybe we'll have them on the podcast.
Maybe they'll come on the podcast.
Or maybe
Facebook
they'll be
Marketplace
like,
roommate.
Hi, welcome in.
Or maybe they'll be like, hey, can you keep it down?
Yeah, while we're.
Hey, can you keep it down?
The reason that the podcast fails is because my new roommate doesn't let me film my podcast because we're too loud.
Let girls have fun. But no, back to it. You guys have helped me break down my insecurity in a lot of ways because
Awesome.
I've like learned, I'm like, when we all are just like dancing around, I'm like,
sorry, I haven't paid my car payment. I'm just kidding. I did that the other week.
No, I've just learned like, oh, like,
Oops.
they're not judgmental, and a lot of people aren't judgmental, and like having that point of view on other people where they are going to judge you makes you a judgmental person.
Yeah.
Like, and just like unlearning like the defensiveness of even just like having fun with your friends in a very authentic way. You guys have helped me do that in a large way.
I always know when I'm feeling bad about I always know that when I'm starting to be like a little jealous or like envious and like, or if I'm like watching a video and I see something and I'm like, I have to like, and I've gotten really good at like checking myself very quickly to be like, why do you feel like that? Like, because they're not doing anything. 9 times out of 10, don't get me wrong, I see some really stupid shit and I'm like, whatever, not the point. I have to check myself and be like, why are you feeling this way? Because it has nothing to do with them. Like 90% of the time, if somebody's like being mean to you, they're projecting something on you, you know? Like my dad's always like, everyone's way more worried about themselves than they're worried about you. Like nobody's looking at you because they're looking at themselves and they're checking themselves and they're like, everyone's always looking at themselves and thinking about themselves. That's what has kind of gotten me into this place of confidence of like, everyone's too worried about themselves to worry about me. And even if that's not true and some people really are like all eyes on you, that's their own problem.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking at the man in the mirror.
I'm scared.
Why?
I guess
For
not like generally. Well, I guess that would be generally. No, I think in that world, as much as I can know that, I stop myself from so many things still because I am so scared.
And people are mean, but like I said, it's a projection most of the time.
Oh my God, I'm going to look stupid.
I don't think anyone ever thinks that you look stupid.
You know, so silly. And I think
You're
that's
perfect.
You are perfect.
I think that's a big part of also why I'm like, okay, I need to be nicer to those past versions of myself that I hated, because if I keep telling myself, you're stupid, you were embarrassing, you messed up.
That's not
We're going to be afraid of doing that again, you know?
Yeah.
That's
Because you're
not
going to
nice.
do something stupid.
I'm
You're going to wear something stupid.
Today,
you're gonna
I
say
will probably
something
do something stupid.
Yeah, like we're
Curry incident.
23, 24,
Curry
25
incident.
years old. Like
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
We're
Oh
not.
my God, we're the trifecta.
We're not perfect, and we're never
We're only
gonna
going
be.
up.
We're only sure.
23, 24, 25, 26, 27.
We took out the burp.
28.
I hope you appreciated that one.
Shannon.
Thanks a lot, Shannon.
Fucking Shannon.
Just kidding. Actually, you probably have noticed by now because this is going to be our 4th episode, but we did take out the burp because we learned that some people may not like the mouth sounds.
And that's okay. You can be
That's
who you
okay.
be. Madison, I want you to name 3 favorite things currently in your life right now.
Ooh.
That could-
Janis Joplin.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I've been listening to her every day and it makes me feel very powerful.
I've been loving Kendrick Lamar as well and like the music.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to really admit that one.
Oh,
but-
sorry. What's wrong with Kendrick
You know
Lamar?
what? Hell yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I was having a really, really, really bad day. And I went for a run and I listened to Kendrick Lamar the entire time. And it turned my whole world around. He's
Very
great.
He is great.
He's really great.
Yeah, he's got it. People are like, what?
Yeah. Lyrics.
No, yeah.
Like, yeah, like amazing lyricist.
Yeah.
I mean,
He won a what is it? Not a
great.
Nobel. He won a
Kendrick Lamar won a
Nobel
Nobel
Peace
Prize.
no. He won I think it's like
For
a
his diss
Pulitzer
track.
or like a
oh yeah.
a Peabody. He won a Peabody
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think artists win Nobel Peace Prize, do they?
unless they cause peace.
So fucking true.
The birds. I've been listening to the birds every day, and I think they're especially
Outside?
chirpy because it's spring.
Oh, like I
They
thought you were
have been.
joking. Yeah, the
No.
birds have been
I'm really loving the birds and listening to
the
them.
birds have been very chirpy recently.
I'm looking around my room, I guess, for my 3rd favorite thing.
You're supposed to say your journal that your best friend made for you, crafted by hand.
That is my 3rd favorite thing right now. Actually, I've been writing in it
Just
every
kidding.
day.
Have you
I
actually
can't-
been using it every day?
Oh my God, every day. That's
That
been
makes
my
me so
new
happy.
everyday writing journal. I love it so much. I will do that as my 3rd.
No, you can pick another
No.
one. I was
Well,
joking.
that's true. Oh, well,
Yeah, well, you just
actually, I've
remember it.
also really been loving cereal.
You have been.
I've
You've been loving
rediscovered
your
cereal.
Elizabeth.
Purely
Purely
Elizabeth
Elizabeth.
cereal. Didn't know they made cereal. They do, and it's been a joy.
Guys, bring back cereal.
I never
honestly,
lost
that
in a
is
very
one of
big
my
way.
most
I
exciting
know.
things.
I have 3 boxes on deck at home
It's so good.
constantly.
I ate mold the other
Oh.
day. Like, I have a fear,
This
a
is
deep
insane.
fear of like getting sick from food, which is crazy because I don't like eat well by any means, but like I can't really eat leftovers. I bring stuff home from Madison. Like, Madison will eat it. If something's in the fridge for too long, like I can't. Like, I'm always checking expiration dates. I'm so afraid of something being, I don't know, nothing ever happened to me. Like, I just have this fear, and I'm not a fearful person. Things do not scare me really at all. Oh my God, I made oatmeal, and then I put my blueberries in it. I put my syrup in it, and I didn't look down because I don't know. Usually I look at my bite before I have it, but I didn't. I'll never do that. I'll never make that mistake again. And I put it in my mouth, and while it's in my mouth, I look down, and my syrup that's supposed to be brown is gray and fuzzy. Oh my God! That was the worst. I was hacking and heaving and freaking out, and I had to have Dylan like go and throw it away so I couldn't see it before I walked back into the kitchen, and I was messed up all day from it. I just thought that was important for you guys to know. Oh my God, that was the worst. Sorry.
Your stomach biome probably loved it.
I don't know what we were talking about, but that was really, really horrible for me, and I just thought that you guys should know about it.
I think we should segue into media.
Fuck Jaden's mold story.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, you okay?
Oh, you had some moss. Okay. You had
Oh, little blue cheese.
accidentally touched grass.
The cheese touch.
The cheese. Okay. Media. For me, well, someone just saw Wicked for the first time recently.
Yeah, he did.
It's me. And I cannot stop listening to that.
You've watched it 3 times.
I watched it 3 times in 2 weeks. I am obsessed with it. I keep listening to the soundtrack. That movie is so good. It's
Incredible.
touching my little heart, and it's softening it in places that were hardened and I didn't even know. And then for music, oh my God, I've been nerd for the last 2 years has been very, very, very big for me. Their album Fly or Die is such a good album. I've been trying to get into Madonna more.
Yes.
Don't say that to me. I've been going through Madonna phase. Gone.
It's so fucking good. Like, when I stumble across another Madonna song, I'm like, this is just so good. And it's just so beep boop.
Beep boop boop boop.
And then Michael Jackson also just like always
I've been
tapping in
loving Michael
there.
Jackson recently.
I've been listening to a lot of My Bubblegum by Rashida. Yeah, that song's trending, but I don't give a fuck. That song is good.
You probably
and
found it on TikTok, huh?
I did, and I want to chew it like the bubblegum. And then lastly, Masayoshi Takanaka. I talked about this in my prior podcast. He is one of my favorite jazz makers. He made the Seychelles pop album, and it is one of the best albums in the world. It has Tropic Birds on it. That's the most popular.
I thought you guys just meant general things.
Yeah, it
that
can
we
be
were
general.
liking.
It can be
Whatever, like,
music,
media
movies.
you
Fucking said birds and
consumed
cereal,
recently.
guys.
No, we just asked for your favorite thing.
Yeah, that's just your favorite thing.
I've been loving Substack recently. It's been like I've been trying to get off like TikTok and Instagram, and this has been kind of where I can still scroll but actually learn things. I read this post on Substack recently. It's Fairy Tales by Caroline is the name. Caroline Bewley. I feel like I'm butchering that, but it's between Plath and Diddy and the most important lessons I learned in my 20s, and it's so good. And I don't know, it's just whatever. You can read it if you want. It was really good. And then also I've been listening to a lot of Justin Nozuka. He's somebody that I loved a lot in my childhood, and I feel like a lot of people don't really know about him, but all his music makes me really happy. Ooh, Dylan and I started watching The X-Files. Have you ever seen The X-Files? Really good. I love anything supernatural, and we've been enjoying that. We finished White Lotus finale last night. She didn't. She's only on like episode 2. I'm loving White Lotus.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been really into a book in a really long time. It's called An Extraordinary Theory of Objects, and it's a really interesting format. It's a memoir about a young girl who moved to Paris, and I'm assuming autistic. I think it was written in the 90s, and she kind of describes herself as having something wrong with her, but they're not sure, but everything surrounding it kind of leads me to believe that. Anyway, she will mention something random that she was really obsessed with or hyper fixated on. It could be a Indian tree frog or something was one of them. And then it'll be a page or two of footnotes all about the history of that object. And so it's a story. And then you're also learning these really random cool facts about things you would never know about. I learned that the cardigan is because the Earl of Cardigan wanted a sweater that wouldn't mess up his hair. So he made a button front sweater.
That is awesome. And it really doesn't.
And it really doesn't.
My hair's never messed up with a cardigan.
No. It's a bunch of random facts and it's pretty.
I would love to read that.
It's really good. I actually started reading it because when I was in New York staying at Alana's, she had it there. And I just picked it up and started reading it. And
now you're into it?
And now I love it. And I guess it was one of her favorite books.
Oh, well, I got to get on that. I got to get on that.
Any other media?
Sinead O'Connor. She's been a
constantly.
staple for a while.
I got 2 of her CDs off eBay for $10.
Wow.
But I don't have a CD player. I bought 5 CD players from a thrift store, and they're all broken.
I
never work.
I believe it.
I learned that recently too from Dylan. I didn't know that CDs were the highest quality audio you could have.
I didn't know. Dylan told you that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm going to sound schizophrenic, but hey, they have a different feel. Like when I love to turn on a CD, which it fucking pisses me off. I do not have a CD player because I have like a nice little collection of CDs that I like to.
You can play them in my car. In my car speaker with my CD. I love it. My Hannah Montana CD. Yeah. I forgot. I think my cord is in your car, Morgan.
It is.
Madison and I were in the car the other day driving somewhere far, and that's all I had was my Hannah Montana CD. So that's what we listened to for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
And then on the way back, I think too.
Yeah.
I found that in my basement when I went home one time when I was young, and I said, "That's what you're doing."
I accidentally thrifted a Drake clean version of a Drake album when I was like 17.
That's so funny.
So I was like, I turned on because I was like, whatever, like sure, I'll have this in my car, and I played it. And it was just like beep, what, beep, beep, beep. And I was like, what the fuck? Like I can't even hear fuck. That was God's intervention. He said, no curse words, Morgan, and I'm gonna put that on the Drake album.
Fine. All right.
That is not God's plan.
I think we're
done. I
think we're wrapping up here.
We love Madison and we love you
guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being our first guest.
This is my first podcast ever also.
And you did an incredible job. I
was scared.
We're very happy to have you. We love you so much. We think you are so smart, and we know that everyone else loves you as well. And I'm happy to introduce you to people if they don't know about you.
Which is impossible.
Because she is
world-renowned. Yeah. You see a tree, Madison's it has influenced that tree. You feel the wind. Madison has caused that wind to shake. You've tasted water. She has put her drops into it.
Ew. Ow.
Your hair grows. It does it for Madison.
So true, actually.
You go bald. It's because more hair for Madison.
All right. Well,
I love you guys. Thank you so much
for
having me.
Of course. Nobody else we would want to be here with us. I'm telling Ivy. All right. That's it. This is our first guest episode on Mr. Misinformation.
I think this is the first time I've looked at the camera.
Madison Wild, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We love you so much.
Put your finger up.
It's a hat. It's a crown.
It's a crown.
And we will see you next week.
We love you.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.